Hello, friends. Welcome to an installment of Prospero in Bermuda with your host, Stephen, on the 25th of February, 2024. Apologies in advance for the strobing effect. The weather. Oh, man. I live in a 300-year-old house, and we've been in the rainy season. We live in these limestone houses, and I just want to turn that light off. Oh, that's too. Okay. The wiring, the water's in. Oh, that did it. See, the wiring's a little funny in these limestone houses, 300-year-old houses. So sometimes things can get a little funky. But okay, that seems to have worked. Thank goodness. So we haven't really read a book since May of last year. I think some of my long-suffering fans have seen me start and not complete a number of books. Most recently, some Dragonlance books, and The Siege of Malta, one or two others. There's a lot going on, and most notably, I think some of you will have noticed that a lot of my videos are gone, including my introductory videos saying "Welcome to my channel." My C.S. Lewis videos are gone. My Conan, my H.P. Lovecraft, some videos where I just gave talks about things, some book reviews, and a number of all my Michael D. O'Brien, all that work that we did of doing Elijah in Jerusalem, Father Elijah, so on. It's all gone. They're gone. I don't have backups for it. They're gone. And there's an unfortunate reason for all of that. Some of you may remember that a while ago YouTube came after me for my Tolkien, which are the only things I have left. So I had to delete like the first chapter of, I think, The Fellowship of the Ring and maybe some of the other. I can't remember what it was, but I had to delete the first chapter of one or more books. Silmarillion? I'm not sure. Anyway, I've found even though this is not a monetized channel, I found myself coming under scrutiny by what I thought was just an AI algorithm. But it's hard to not find or not start to think that there's something a little more nefarious going on. I've been hit with 2 strikes out of nowhere for some book reviews that I did. No explanations, telling me that that was out of line, that I wasn't allowed to do that. I mean, one of the books was a controversial book, admittedly, but I had made clear in the review that it was a bad book. It was an objectionable book. But the whole purpose of reviewing it was to show what was objectionable about it. But I think that's not what ticked things off. My point was actually to show where atheistic Darwinist presuppositions can take a person. It's at least logical that, when one lacks any transcendent foundation for objective moral values, and so therefore one is left to concoct their own system of ethics, and one has to find some new foundation for basing those ethics. A concept of something like race or biology or something like that it's a plausible one, and plausibly that could lead one into very sort of bad territory. And of course, somebody who probably considers himself a very ethical Darwinist objected to that because they don't like the fact that, they look at that book and say, well, I'm not a racist, so therefore he's bad for even looking at that book. And I'm like, no, I'm just holding up a mirror as to what can happen. I mean, I'm not afraid of saying I could, if somebody has a bad foundation for how they read the Bible, that can take them down bad roads as well. So, but apparently it's one rule for me, another rule for thee. Anyway, so I was there. It's hard to escape what appeared to be somewhat of a coordinated attack on my channel. I started getting more and more comments. It all feeds back into I stupidly, I suppose, made a comment, a critical comment. I didn't think it was that critical. I just sort of contributed to what I thought was the conversation on a very popular atheistic debunking Christianity type site, which I won't mention because I don't want to attract the eye of Sauron again, but it's one of the most popular ones out there. And because I leave my name out there and it's sort of I'm Steven and all that kind of thing, I found myself suddenly feeling the pressure. And the irony is that 99.9% of all of my videos are simply me reading books, most of whom are like childhood books, like the Chronicles of Narnia and stuff. But for my few book reviews here and there, I was really getting a lot of trouble. Maybe it was my association with the Kurgan, who's a Catholic sedevacantist that I made the acquaintance of recently. I really like him. I think he's awesome. But it was almost like, the trolls that frequent his site maybe became attracted to mine as a result. Anyway, who knows? Who knows? It's the only thing that it's not is non-coordinated. I don't know who's responsible for it, but we live in an age where we know that there is censorship. My brother and I will argue about this, but my brother is very skeptical of censorship because he just happens to have all the safe views, and so he's not ever in any danger of being censored. And of course, if I ever am censored, he'll be like, "Well, you deserve it," So that's kind of the way the gaslighting works. But anyway, the pulling down of the video that says "Welcome to my channel," that's on me. That was because in a fit of sort of despair, or not despair, frustration at what was going on, I just thought, okay, it's time to dismantle this whole thing. It's run its course. I'll keep the Tolkien videos up. Screw it, it's done. I miss the Michael D. O'Brien stuff. I don't have enough room on my computer to back this stuff up. Hours and hours and hours of reading are just gone, because a lot of things just disappeared. All those books, they just disappeared, so I don't know why, but they're gone. Anywho, here's the point. I'm gonna keep going, and I don't know whether I'm going to try reading things again. There are things I still want to read. Things that you might even think are a little bit sketch, but like there are books that don't even attract me. Well, they're books from my childhood. I used to love Enid Blyton. I used to love Willard Price. I used to love Lad a Dog, things like that. And it's not going to be as enjoyable for me to read them because they're kids' books. But I don't have kids. I mean, I suppose I could still have kids because I don't have a womb that can dry out. But the likelihood of me fathering maybe, but raising a child is pretty, it doesn't seem to be in the cards for me for various reasons. That those stars never seem to align for me. I've had a really cool, interesting life in a lot of ways, but raising a family doesn't seem to be doesn't seem to be part of my life path this time round, if one believes in reincarnation. I don't, but I keep the door open to it. But sometimes I think it would be really good just to read like my old copies of Enid Blyton or Roald Dahl and so on, because I keep hearing about these books being republished with woke language and so on. On the other hand, then I'll just get a repeat of what happened before. I'm sorry, this is a bit of a ramble. It's kind of inspired by, I was just going to retreat into the sunset, but I just found totally by accident, a YouTube channel and I'm gonna recommend it. The guy, I don't know his name, though I think his name's probably in the videos somewhere. It's called Interesting Books Reviewed. He's a Christian man, looks to be similar age-ish to me, and our libraries are really similar. And he's had the cojones to review a lot of books that I own, or have owned, but didn't dare review, and or have owned at some point, but I ended up giving away. Um, and he's still out there. I don't know how he's doing it. Maybe he just never commented on any atheistic website or something. Maybe mine's just a one-off thing. I don't know how it works, you know. But he's kind of inspired me to sort of do a new version of my channel 2.0, come back, start reading again. Um, I don't know whether I'd be just reading books, because it's frustrating also. You see these audiobooks that are of really good quality. Maybe I'll just start coming back and doing reviews, doing talks, doing things that I've really wanted to speak about, but I've always been admittedly intimidated. Not because, well, just because with strikes and deletions and all that kind of thing. And, you know, at one point I would self-censor because I was afraid of my career, but, you know, the woke culture took care of my legal career years ago. Um, and thankfully I have sources of income now that are not reliant on me maintaining the good, staying in the good graces of the kind of matrix world that we live in. I have developed skills that are somewhat indispensable, and could survive, you know, the repercussions of having unpopular opinions. That sounds like a challenge, doesn't it? Whereas I got to find out what he does and destroy him. But no. Yeah, so see this as me saying, look, to my long suffering fans that write to me, I'm still around. There was a combination of me having stuff deleted and me then deleting things that I now have, that are now lost. Somewhat under duress, because I would get these notifications saying I had to take things down. I'm sorry if I'm being vague. I am being vague, because there is an element to it that I'm just not going to talk about. But on the other hand, the challenge is actually making me think I should just come back and start doing this, and actually going harder, leading into the censorship, and just saying, you know what, I'm going to say what I want to say and review the books that I want to review. And if they kick me off, they kick me off, because we seem to be entering a kind of technocratic dark age anyway. Maybe if I can just get it out there, it's all going to be part of the Akashic records somewhere. Sorry, I keep using these non-Christian terms. But yeah, I'm here, and I've still got stuff to contribute. I've still got stuff to share, and there's a lot more analysis to be done. And I'm really making this because I was inspired by this Christian chat reviewing these books. So thank you to everybody that is still subscribed to my channel. Keep coming back. I will. I hope to put up some new material. I'm just struggling to figure out the direction of this channel going forward. Like I said, it started as something I just enjoyed, something that was going on during lockdowns. Now that lockdowns are over, the world has returned to, well, it's not returned to normalcy. The new normal, however, is not conducive to the old product that I was producing. Censorship is rife everywhere, coming after even innocuous things. So I have to figure out now what it is that I'm going to be producing. But production is going to continue. It's just a question of in what shape or form that it's going to take. Because I see people producing things and monetizing things that are far more controversial than anything I ever produced. And yet things that I've produced that aren't even monetized and are way less controversial than certain monetized things is getting censored. So I've just got to figure out how to square that circle somehow. In any event, I'll be back. Until then, God bless, and keep checking that wardrobe for your entrance into Narnia. Many thanks.